The morning sun filtered through the half-closed curtains, filling Ravi's room with a golden glow. His books lay scattered across the desk, some unopened, others still wrapped in dust from weeks of neglect. On the chair lay his neatly folded school uniform, waiting for the day when he would finally take his studies seriously. But Ravi lay sprawled on his bed, holding his phone tightly, scrolling endlessly through short videos, memes, and meaningless jokes. Every time a notification popped up, he laughed, as if the world was offering him entertainment for free. His mother gently opened the door, her eyes full of concern. "Ravi," she said softly, "exams are coming. You must study, beta. Time once gone will never return." She picked up one of his books and placed it on the table near him, hoping he would at least glance at it. Ravi stretched lazily, his voice calm and careless. "Don't worry, Ma. I'll study tomorrow. There's always time. One day won't change my destiny." He returned to his phone as if the conversation never happened. But deep down, somewhere within, he knew he was lying to himself. He wanted success, respect, and a bright future. Yet his actions betrayed his dreams. Hours turned into days, and days into weeks. Each time his friends called him to study together, he found another excuse. "I'm tired today, I'll start after dinner, maybe tomorrow." Laziness was like a slow poison. Ravi didn't feel its effect immediately, but it was slowly stealing his strength, determination, and focus. He did not realize that every wasted second was shaping his destiny in silence. The more he delayed, the heavier his burden became. By nightfall, his mother stood at the door once more, silently watching her son laugh at his phone screen while the clock ticked away. She sighed deeply. One day, she whispered to herself, he will understand the value of action over excuses. Ravi did not hear her. He was too busy scrolling through nothingness, believing tomorrow would rescue him. But tomorrow never comes for those who waste today. The day of the exam arrived like an uninvited storm. Ravi sat in the crowded classroom, the ceiling fans humming above, the smell of fresh ink and paper filling the air. Students shuffled nervously in their seats, some whispering formulas under their breath, others closing their eyes in silent prayer. Ravi, however, stared blankly at the crisp question paper placed before him. His hands trembled, not from excitement but from fear. The questions looked strangely familiar. He had seen them in his textbooks, his notes, and in the revision guides his friends had shared. Yet, in this moment, his mind was an empty desert, dry and lifeless. He searched desperately for answers, flipping through the barren corners of his memory, but all he found was silence. His heart pounded as if mocking him for every lazy moment spent on meaningless distractions. Around him, pens danced across pages with confidence. His classmates wrote swiftly, their eyes sharp with focus. Some even paused to smile, reassured by the knowledge they had worked hard for this very moment. Ravi, on the other hand, sat frozen. Sweat rolled down his forehead, blurring the words before him. Minutes slipped away like sand in an hourglass, but his answer sheet remained frighteningly blank. The ticking clock on the wall grew louder, each tick reminding him of the days he had wasted. He remembered his mother's voice, "Time once gone will never return." At that moment, her words cut through him like a blade. He wanted to cry, to scream, to turn back time and undo his mistakes. But life does not offer second chances so easily. When the final bell rang, Ravi walked out of the exam hall with heavy steps. His friends chatted excitedly about the paper, comparing answers and laughing at tricky questions. Ravi kept his eyes down, his throat tight, his future suddenly uncertain. He knew what awaited him: failure, disappointment, and regret. Weeks later, results were announced. The notice board was filled with names of students who had worked hard, shining with pride. Ravi searched desperately for his name, but it was missing. His heart sank. He stood in the crowd, invisible, his dreams shattered by his own laziness. That night, staring at the ceiling in his dark room, he whispered, "I am the author of my own downfall." For the first time, Ravi understood the painful truth. Laziness shapes not comfort, but tragedy. The night of his failure was the darkest Ravi had ever known. He sat on the edge of his bed, the result sheet lying beside him like a heavy stone crushing his heart. His friends had passed with flying colors, some even topping the class, while he had nothing but silence to show for his efforts, or rather, his lack of them. For hours, he stared at the mirror across the room. His reflection did not mock him, it begged him. His tired eyes seemed to whisper, Is this the destiny you chose for yourself? Tears welled up, but amidst the pain, something began to stir within him. A voice, soft but steady, spoke from the depths of his soul, your actions shape your destiny. Laziness has written your past, but hard work can write your future. That night, Ravi made a decision that would change his life forever. He promised himself never to let excuses steal his tomorrow again. The next morning, long before the sun rose, Ravi sat at his desk. The phone that once ruled his life now lay forgotten in a drawer. In front of him were his books, opened not out of fear but determination. His mother, passing by his room, paused in surprise. For the first time in years, she saw her son awake before dawn, eyes sharp, pen moving steadily, as if every word he wrote was carving a new path. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Ravi's routine transformed: early mornings, focused study hours, disciplined breaks, and honest effort. The boy who once wasted time now valued every second. Slowly, his confidence returned. Concepts that once confused him became clear, and lessons he had ignored now felt like treasures. His teachers noticed the change, his friends admired his dedication, and his mother's heart swelled with pride. Finally, the day came when hard work met opportunity. Another examination, another test of destiny. Ravi entered the hall with steady steps, his hands no longer trembling, his mind no longer blank. This time, he was ready. He wrote with focus, his pen racing against the clock but never faltering. When the results arrived, his name stood proudly among the top achievers. Weeks later, Ravi stood on stage, receiving a prize for excellence. The auditorium roared with applause. As he held the certificate high, he smiled, not just because of the recognition, but because he had discovered a timeless truth: destiny is not given, it is created. And it is shaped by action, not excuses.